Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, my friends, whenever you are watching this video. Welcome back to another math time with me, Miss X. I am super excited to have you all here again. Let's begin by looking at our objectives. Remember, our objectives are always broken up into three separate parts so we know exactly how we're doing something, what it is that we need to understand, and lastly, why we're doing it or why it's important. Read with me or in your head as I read out loud to you. I will use chip model and vertical form to solve triple-digit addition number sentences in order to keep track of when we make a new 10 and a new 100. We will be doing both of those things today. Let's quickly review our math vocabulary. This one is not new, but it's really important to remember and to know immediately. Equation. Equation is another word for number sentence. It is the technical term and it is the math term for number sentence. So when you hear me saying equation, I also just mean number sentence. Let's go ahead and jump straight into our teacher model.
All right, friends and families, welcome to the first part of our teacher model. Our number sentence or equation reads 126 plus 160. You'll also notice that we have a blank place value chart here. This is where we will be drawing our chip model. Looking at our vertical form first, let's determine the numbers given to us, do they represent our whole or our parts? And before we even do that though, it's very helpful to see what operation we are working with. Today's operation, we are working with addition. So in addition, we remember that we always work with two parts in order to find a missing whole. Therefore, 126 would be a part, 160 would be a part, and then we would be solving for a missing whole. 100, 110, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126. Let's go ahead and draw our next part, which is 160. 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160. Now that we have finished drawing both of our parts, we can go ahead and take a look at our chip model to see the whole amount of both parts together. Let's take a look at our ones place first. We didn't have any ones from our second part, so our ones place remains just 6 ones. Let's take a look at our tens. So we have 2 tens from 126 and we have 6 tens from 160. I have then 6, 7, 8 tens. And then let's take a look at our hundreds. I have 1 100 from 126 and I have 1 100 from 160, giving me 2 hundreds. Therefore, my whole missing whole is 286. Great job. Now, I have a quick question. Did we need to bundle units in this problem? No, we didn't. Because 6 plus 0 is just 6. And 2 plus 6 doesn't equal 10. So we didn't need to bundle because we never made 10 in either of the place values. All right, friends and families, welcome to the last part of our teacher model here. For our teacher model, we are working with the equation 342 plus 169. You'll also notice that we have a blank place value chart here. Before we do any kind of chip model drawing on our blank place value chart here, we like to look at our equation in order to determine whether these numbers that are given to us represent whole or part. And from there, we are able to determine or figure out if we are solving for a missing whole or a missing part. Before we even do any of that, though, it's really important to take a look at the operation. We are adding today. When we add, we remember that we put parts together in order to find the whole. And that's what we do when we add. When we add, we put parts together in order to find the whole. Let's go ahead and begin now with our chip model. Now that we know We are adding, and now that we know that 342 and 169 represent our parts, we can go ahead and draw both parts onto our blank place value chart. Again, when we add, we draw both parts into our blank place value chart. Beginning with 342, 100, 200, 300, 310, 320, 330, 340, 341, 342. Moving on. Now let's draw our next part, which is 169. 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 161, 162, 163, 164, 165, 166, 167, 168, 169. You'll notice that I still set up with my 5 groups. That's really important for you to do. And let me go ahead and fix this last dot right here. Okay. Now that we've drawn both parts, we can take a look at what they both make for the whole. Now that we've finished that, let's take a look at the whole amount of both parts combined together. In my ones place, I have 2 ones from 342. I have 9 ones from 169. Let's take a look. I notice that I have 9 down here and 2 up here. That makes 11. Wait, in 11, there's a 10. So I'm going to go ahead and bundle. I'm bundling 10 ones, 9 and 1. Those are partners to 10. I'm going to bundle 10 ones to move into the tens column. Now that I've bundled 10 ones, I only have one left. So I'm going to write that down. And I also have a brand new 10. I'm going to put that down here under the 6 in my tens column to keep track of my work. Let's take a look at our tens place now. I have 4 tens from 342. I have 6 tens from 169. And I also have an additional 10 from the 10 ones. I represented that on my vertical form with a baby 1 under the 6 in our tens place value column. I have 4, 1, and 6 tens. I notice a partner to 10 immediately. 6 and 4 are partners to 10. So I'm going to go ahead and bundle that to make a new 100. Now that I've finished bundling our tens place, I only have 1 10 left. And I have a new 100, so I'm going to keep track of that and put it down here in our hundreds place. You'll notice then that I have 3 hundreds. Well, now we're moving into our hundreds place. So you'll notice that we have 3 hundreds from 342, 100 from 169, and then a brand new 100 from 10 tens. 3, 4, and 5, I have 5 hundreds. Therefore, my missing whole is 511.
All right, friends and families, as you get ready to move into the independent practice and your exit ticket, please keep these 4 things in mind. Number 1, read the instructions carefully. I always say this because my friends forget to read the instructions. It's very hard for you to do your work if you don't read the instructions. Number 2, line your numbers up properly in the vertical form. Number 3, make sure your vertical model matches the chip model. Number 4, if you make a new 10 or a new 100, it needs to show on the line of the vertical form. You can go back to my teacher model and look at it, or you can also take a look at the example I have provided here. You'll notice that I have all my baby ones in their correct place values, and that's why it's very important to line up your numbers properly in vertical form. Good luck, my friends. I know you're going to do an amazing job. If you don't have access to the worksheet, click the link in the description box below. It will take you to the worksheet. Don't worry about printing it if you don't have a printer. Just write down the problems on a separate piece of paper and solve it on your own the best that you can. Looking forward to everything that you're doing. I will see you next time.